Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for big... Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great one out there. Today we are diving into another full album reaction. Sit up, pull up your chair, pull up the good pillow, get in your favorite couch, snacks, drinks, whatever you need. We're diving on into Clutching at Straws, the fourth album from Marillion, released 1987. We're listening to this because it was suggested and sponsored by Courtney. So Courtney, thank you so much for the overwhelming support and for the suggestion as well. And this album has been recommended for a long time by many others, such as Stephen Pesta. Let's see. Manhattan Man, I got you as well. R. Philly, Caden Richards, David Bull, John Mervodis, SB Summit, Matt Lathram, T-Dog, Fenn, John Smith. I'm going back 3 years now. Sci-Fi Monkey, David Emery, you mentioned this one as well. James Paiva. Ariadne, you said that this is a good album as well. Itrusenti, the list is going on. Thomas Siskowski, the list goes on and on and on and on. I'm still scrolling. Actually, I'm scrolling. It's still going down. I'm at 4 years right now. 4 years. Do we got 5? Can we get 5 years? 5 years. Anyone? 5 years? There you go. 5 years. Here we go. Wiltshire Tony, Robert Schmidt-Bauer. Are any of these people still here? Bell Garath. And the list just goes on from there. Like, I'm still scrolling. The last one I see is Sidecar Dog from 5 years ago. So thank you guys so much for the recommendations and suggestions on this particular album. I'm excited to dive into this one. And it's been a little bit since we've listened to Marillion. Even though I have some, like, just a little bit of Marillion scheduled for, like, a little bit later on, because I'm pre-scheduling and scheduling things, you know, with the baby coming soon. So I'm trying to get ahead of the schedule a little bit so that way you guys still have content and videos to watch, even if I take a little bit of a break or something. So anyways, Clutching at Straws, Marillion. Looking at the Wikipedia article for this particular album, just to get some context as to what we're listening to, it does say that it's the last album to feature Fish in the band, who left in '88, and it's a concept album. I would like to know the concept before we dive in, so we have a little bit of a story to go off of before we dive in blindly. With the concept album, I like to at least get a little bit of the notes on this one. All right, so the character of Torch, I don't want to read the whole thing because I don't want to spoil, but the character of Torch, supposedly a descendant of the Jester, that's awesome, from earlier album sleeves, is a 29-year-old out-of-work man whose life is a mess. He seeks comfort mostly in alcohol to numb himself. He is trying and failing to forget what lies at his feet: a failed marriage, being a deadbeat father, and his lack of commercial success as a singer in the band. And then I don't want to read more from that just yet. Leaving at that. We'll figure out the rest as we go on. So, yeah, let's go ahead and, get ready to dive into the first track. Of course, before we dive in, if you don't mind pressing that like button, it helps me a lot. It helps the channel a lot. Recommending it to other people as well who may be interested in watching the videos. Subscribe if you're interested. The Buy Me a Link, or Buy Me a Link. The Buy Me a Coffee link is there, as you just saw pop up on the screen, which is how Courtney, of course, sponsored this reaction. You can, of course, do the same thing if interested. It's there for you, Patreon and all that other stuff. Thank you for being here. Thank you for just being. I'm gonna sip on my cup. Listen, I have a question before we dive into this. Clutching at straws obviously is also grasping at straws. Is that like a British way of saying the same thing? Grasping at straws, clutching at straws. And speaking of that, like, if I remember correctly, because I like to drink tea a lot, I'm drinking like really strong Asian ginger tea, which I love, and I just put a little bit of cream in it, hence the creaminess. Isn't that something that like you guys do over there in the UK? Like you add like cream to your tea sometimes, or milk to your tea? I love it. My dad drank it that way, and that's how I learned to drink it. I forgot to cheers to you, but that first sip of that spicy ginger tea, I love it. The stronger the better is to you. And let's go ahead and dive into the first track, which is Hotel Hobbies. Here we go. Wonder what hobbies those could be.
Oh my. Oh my.
buy it.
Hotel hobbies, padding doors, hallway corridors, bellboys checking out the hookers in the bar. Slug like fingers trace the star-spangled clouds of cocaine on the mirror.
It's a hotel, all right. Oh yeah, love the guitar coming in that intro. Fish sounds great. Like an angrier Peter Gabriel. It's a great drum pattern though. Is killing that. And right back to the beginning.
Few shadows tugging at the corner of his eye, jostling for attention when the sunlight flares through a curtain's tear, shuffling its beams as if in nervous anticipation.
It's just gonna continue on. Okay, let me stop it really quick. We'll go back and get the transition in a second, but I gotta talk about them while I have everything fresh in my mind. Okay, this was a perfect opening to the album. I just want to say that right at the beginning, it's a 5 out of 5 opening to the album. I love the intro, the keys and how they're kind of going up and down, almost sounding kind of vibraphone-ish, and like it's just a gentle tone. And I love Fish's singing here. Obviously, like his more quiet, subtle voice, and here the volume seems to be lower than like than usual. But like I like him singing in his quiet tones. But when the music kicks in and he sings outright and forthright, sounding like an angrier Peter Gabriel in the classic Genesis days, like it comes to life in a brilliant way. And I love how his voice fills the particular room here in this song. Rothery's guitar, that is perfect. The way it springs out of there and those long, powerful notes coming out of there is just really a joy to listen to. The drumming, I like that as well, especially the pattern when Kelly's, not Kelly, Mosley, rather, is hitting the ride and then not hitting the snare, or maybe he's ghost noting it, but also hitting either a hi-hat or maybe some other cymbals there. It's just a cool little shuffle that he pulls off there, which was really, really nice. He got some deep bass that comes in eventually from Pete. Like, this is just a really, really excellent track, but I have to say, I think that Rothery and Fish really stood out brilliantly in this one. And I like how it ends in the same place that it begins, and at the same time, it's clearly just leading into the next track, which I can't assume, really listening to the first track, but it does seem like perhaps not only these first two tracks, but maybe many more, if not the whole album, may just act as one continuous piece of music as it transitions between different sections, which I'll have to look at the track listing and stuff like that, but we may let a few go together depending on how it flows and how much I have on my mind and how much I don't want to forget to say. So let's look at the lyrics here real quick. Hotel hobbies padding dawn's hollow corridors. Bellboys checking out the hookers in the bar. Slug-like fingers checking out in which way? Because there's two ways that can go. Slug-like fingers trace the star-spangled clouds of cocaine on the mirror. The short straw took its bow. A reference to the album title, I would imagine. The telltale toking of the last cigarette, marking time in the packet as the whiskey sweat. Lies like discarded armor on an unmade bed. That's a good line. And a familiar craving is crawling in his head. And the only sign of life is the ticking of the pen, introducing characters to memories like old friends. Frantic as a cardiograph, scratching out the lines. A fever, a confession, a catalog of crime in happy hour. Like he's writing, and I like the imagery of frantic as a cardiograph, tracking the heartbeat. I like how he's just writing, just frantically. Do you cry in happy hour? Do you hide in happy hour? The pilgrimage to happy hour. I love that line as well. New shadows tugging at the corner of his eye, jostling for attention when the sunlight flares through a curtain's tier, shuffling its beams as if in nervous anticipation of another day. Like whatever this shadow, this thing that's haunting him, a depression, a negative thought, whatever it is that's haunting him, it's like it's just like weighing on top of him, and even mentions about the sunlight through the curtain, shuffling its beams as if nervous in anticipation of another day, like another day of this, basically. That's good. I like the writing. I love the music. Let's see how this transitions into warm, wet circles. Here we go. Even the album cover, they're just chilling at the bar, basically. Looking like Cheers.
Drunks propose to lonely arcade mannequins with ceremonies pause at the jeweler's shop display, feigning casual silence in strange romantic interludes till they commit themselves to the muted journey home, and the pool player rests on another cue. Last night's hero picking up his juice. A honeymoon gambled on a ricochet. She's staring at the brochures of the holidays, chalking up a name in your hometown, standing all your mates to another round, laughing at the world till the barman wipes away the warm wet circle.
I imagine that's like him tracing, or her tracing the glasses. Like
teenage girls like gaudy moths, a classroom shabby butterflies, flirting the glow of stranded telephone boxes, planning white lace weddings from smeared hearts and token proclamations.
I like that.
Lipsticks across the razored webs of glass, sharing cigarettes with experience, with a giggling, jealous confidence. She faithfully traces his name with quick, bending fingernails through the tears of condensation that'll cry through the night.
This is the candle song.
The lighter song. The last bus kiss adolescence goodbye. In a warm wet circle, like a mother's kiss on your first broken heart. A warm wet
Love the piano and the way this broke away.
like a bullet hole in Central Park. A warm wet circle, and I'll always surrender.
had to lean into it. Listen to the bass backing up the solo. Quick fill. Guitar solo leans down into this heavy moment. Oh yeah, listen to him Rothery. Right back to that piano. Lovely piano little melody right there. I'm sorry. You want to know the funniest thing? Okay, I wasn't even looking at the screen, like at the duration part that you guys can see the time part. I was just listening because I looked off to the side, and when it transitioned into that pulse on the bass from Pete, I was just like, "Oh, where are we going?" I didn't even realize it went on to the next track. Okay. The first half of this track is good, but the second half is extraordinary. From the moment the piano breaks everything, the music stops to give way to that deep, dramatic piano and that melody, the deep chords from it. Oh, baby. And once again, the way that Fish sings here, brilliant. But the way that Steve just starts crying out with that guitar solo, wailing into the clouds, is awesome. And then after that brilliant solo, with some really great bass work from Pete backing it up, after that high note sustained kind of solo, and it comes back down to the ground, and then Fish takes over the verse and goes back to that part, Steve is still soloing, ripping chords in the back there. It's not the same polished, sustained, airy tone that he's used in that solo, but he's still soloing and leading in the back, this time with a little bit of a dirtier, grungier, and more so heavier tone, which I like how it keeps continuity, but it just brings a different sound and tone, matching, of course, where the band goes in that second half when Fish comes back in. That's good. That's really good. And I really love that piano melody. I just think that's such a cool break in this track. Like I said, the first half was good. I was like, okay, this is cool. It's relaxed. It's quiet. But the way they brought that up in the second half was just brilliant. And I also do see that this was a single from this album. It says it was, let me pull you guys up here. It was the third single from their album here, peaking at number 22 on the UK singles chart, becoming the band's 9th top 30 hit in a row, and remained on the chart for 4 weeks. They had some good success here with this particular track. While we're here, let's look at the lyrics. On promenades where drunks propose to lonely arcade mannequins, where ceremonies pause at the jeweler's shop display, feigning casual silence and strain romantic interludes, so they commit themselves to the muted journey home. I love the imagery that he's describing here. Till they commit. Oh, we read that. And the pool player rests on another cue. Great line. Last night's hero picking up his dues, a honeymoon gambled on a ricochet. She's staring at the brochures at the holidays, chalking up a name in your hometown. Standing all your mates to another round, laughing at the world to the Batman. So the barman wipes away the warm, wet circles. Okay, I should have paid more attention. The warm, wet circles, the circles like the condensation on the bottom of the cup. Okay, I was not paying attention because when I was first listening and reading a little bit, I was thinking like, when you're like, if there's a first date or like, you're making that small talk, maybe you nervously kind of, play off the rim of your circle. So I was kind of actually thinking that. But now that makes total sense. So it's like, that's good. Cleaning up the different scenery, so to speak, those warm, wet circles. That's really cool. I saw teenage girls like gaudy moths, a classroom's shabby butterflies, flirt in the glow of stranded telephone boxes, planning white lace weddings from smeared hearts and token proclamations, rolled from stolen lipsticks across the razored webs of glass. Would those razored webs of glass be the glass like the drinks at the bar? And how they can lead to, lack of a better word, tangled webs? Sharing cigarettes with experience and her giggling, jealous confidants, she faithfully traces his name with quick bitten fingernails through the tears of condensation that are cry through the night as the glancing headlights of the last bus kiss adolescence goodbye. Like they'll be losing their adolescence. They're growing up too fast. In a warm, wet circle like a mother's kiss on your first broken heart. A warm, wet circle like a bullet hole in Central Park. A warm, wet circle, and I'll always surrender to the warm, wet circles. I mean, one thing is something that comforts you. The other thing is something that kills you. I'll always surrender to the warm, wet circles. These things that remain. That's what I'm kind of getting out of it. The literal ones on the bottom of a glass, it's what remains, that condensation. The bullet hole is what remains after an event. These are the aftermaths of events. She nervously undressed in the dancing beams of the Fidger lighthouse, giving it all away before it's too late. She'll let a lover's tongue move in a warm, wet circle, giving it all away and showing no shame. She'll take a mother's kiss on her first broken heart, just like it said here, a warm, wet circle. She'll realize that she played her part in a warm, wet circle. Like she's part of the story of the, you guys can't see, of the, you know what I'm doing, the bottom of the glass here. It was a wedding ring, destined to be found in a cheap hotel, lost in a kitchen sink, or thrown in a wishing well. That's the warm, wet circle in this case. Destined to be found in a cheap hotel, some cheating going on, lost in the kitchen sink, or thrown in a wishing well. Wow. I love that. That's really good. And the different plays on the words as well. That's really good. That's really good. Let us move on to the next track, which I barely even realized was the next track. That Time of the Night, which also has the subtitle of The Short Straw. Listen to that pulse. Listen to that pulse. Rothery's just echoing. I really love that steady bass line. So deep and moody, like a shade of blue. I had to check to make sure we weren't changing the song again. I like how it went from something kind of dark and moody into something much more upbeat, kind of playful.
At that time of the night, when street lights throw crosses through window frames, paranoia roams where the shadows reign. Your senses tangled in some new perfume. Criticism triggers off a loaded room. Oh, at that time of the night.
At that time.
So if you ask me, how do I feel inside? I could honestly tell you, we've been taking on a very long ride. And if my oldest
Like that little slow down beat.
have some free time someday, with all good intention, I would probably run away, clutching the short straw.
I love the bass and guitar combination out of that.
At that time of the night, when questions rally in an open mind, summon all your answers with a nice cute chime. Oh, at that time of the night. At that time of the night, pretend you're off the hook with a telephone. Your confidence wounded in a free fire zone. Oh, at that time of the night. So if you ask me, where do I go from here? My next destination even isn't really that clear. So if you join me and get on your knees and pray, I'll show you salvation. We'll take the alternative way. Clutching the short straw.
I got you. Yeah, they're bringing the heaviness here. Big, nice rolls there, Mosley. That's a great way to bring it right back. Little vocoder. Okay. Okay, well, this one actually has like an ending. Because I was about to let it go into the next track, but it actually kind of ended right there. Okay, I love how this brings back the motif in the chorus of the warm, wet circles, but just in such a heavy, great moment. Mosley on the drums at that ending minute. Sensational. Because of course, they changed the rhythm right into that kind of breakdown-esque kind of moment. And the way that he starts kind of progressively bringing in those fills and actually like literally using the word fills. At first he fills it a little bit, but then as it goes on, he begins to throw in more fills, more rapid, fills in there, and just becomes more and more aggressive, eventually kind of hitting the crashes like ba 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 ba, like quick ones. It's just really cool how he really ups the intensity in this particular track on that back half. He brings a lot of momentum here. And I also like the, you have Tessa Niles on the backing vocals on this one at the very end. Tessa Niles, if I'm just looking at her Wikipedia page, because I never heard of her, she's an English singer, best known as a backing singer for a wide variety of artists, such as Rolling Stones, George Harrison, Tears for Fears, Steve Winwood, Morrissey, lots of people, Cher, Pet Shop Boys, Marillion, obviously, The Police, Bowie. I mean, the list goes on. She's performed... Jeez, look at her. Look at her. I mean, it just goes. She's worked with a lot of people here. And I like the brief moment that she has here, and I really like those vocoded vocals at the very end. This kind of ends, I guess, this little I don't want to say sweet necessarily, but it definitely ends this section of the album without necessarily transitioning directly into the next song, which I kind of figured that it would just keep on doing that. But I think that's a wonderful way of bringing it all together, especially with the ending there. Once again, Rothery just sounds brilliant. I love the build-up in here from the Poles giving us something kind of, blue, I say shade of blue and moody, into something a little bit more upbeat, fun, and then the way that it climaxes there at the very end. And Fish just really relentlessly letting it all loose there. It's just a really powerful moment. This is good. This is a really good album from them. At that time of this is I think better than so far previous albums we've listened to from them. At the time of the night, when streetlights throw crosses through window frames, paranoia roams where the shadows reign. Oh, at that time of the night. At that time of the night, your senses tangled in some new perfume. Criticism triggers from a loaded room. Oh, at that time of the night. So if you ask me, how do I feel inside? I could honestly tell you, we've been taken on a very long ride. And if my owners let me have some free time someday, with all good intention, I would probably run away, clutching the short straw. So he's trying to get out of there. At the time of the night when questions rally in an open mind, summon all your answers with an ice cube chime, like in The Glass, or once again, back to The Glass, following the story of Torch and his alcoholism. At that time of the night, pretend you're off the hook with the telephone, your confidence wounded in a free fire zone. At that time of the night. So if you ask me where do I go from here, my next destination isn't really that clear. If you join me and get on your knees and pray, I'll show you your salvation. We'll take the alternative way, clutching the short straw. And pray here is, of course, spelled differently, as in to pray on something. If I had enough money, I'd buy a round for that boy over there, a companion in my madness in the mirror, the one with the silvery hair. I like how he's just looking at himself in the mirror. And if some kind soul could please pick up my tab, and while they're at it, if they could pick up my broken heart. And who or where did that broken heart come from? Those warm, wet circles. That's really good. Bringing that all together in this part of the album. Let us move on to the next track here, which is hold on. Wikipedia says on side one, the next track is Just for the Record. On Spotify, it says it's Going Under. Hold on, I'm doing some digging really quick. Just bear with me. I don't look ahead. I just pick the album and I just go. Going Under. But I want to follow the original. Going Under. It shows it again. Let me go to the next. I'm looking at different remasters and remixes of the album. Going Under is once again listed as the next track. I'm just dumb. I just need to read. The CD version of the album includes the bonus track Going Under between That Time of Night and Just for the Record. This was not included on the vinyl or cassette versions. So that's the answer that I need. I'm looking really quick to make sure like everything else is fine because I want to make sure that I'm not messing this up. Okay, Just for the Record. I see. Okay, now usually I like to listen to the original track listing. I'll include Going Under just because it's there. Why not?
Is it wrong to talk to myself even when there's nobody else? I'm just checking out that I'm not gone under the water, thrown on the beach like a seal ready for slaughter. Can't you understand that the way things were planned, it never worked out, so it just went crazy. A two to the drink like some fool says it's made.
Little ambient echo back there.
I ain't got no excuse, and that's really the news. Got nothing else to say, that it's my way. It's it's always my way. Seem to be running away so often. I'll try anything once and that's the way we should be. But it's always the same, getting caught up again in a habit that I just can't shake off. The way it always turns.
I love the ambience behind his singing that's being built up from the rest of the band. I actually hope that it stays drumless because it's just so beautiful. It's just a nice kind of floating ethereal piece.
Can you understand? It's the way I choose to be. Everything seems so easy this way, but I'm going under, fast, slipping
I love
away.
that synth. So
Am I
deep.
so crazy?
I really like this track. It was just like a gentle, very ethereal, drumless, emotional piece of music. I actually really enjoyed that. Let me pause it here really quick. Yeah, that was really enjoyable. I love the ambience that they're all creating back there behind Fish. You know, the pulse of that synth, the gentle bass, the very, very gentle picking of the guitar. It's just a very cool atmosphere back there. And I feel like especially after the ending of the previous track and at least, you know, what happened there and how it kind of just ended, like it feels like a nice, not dessert, but like a cleanser, perhaps, after the previous 3 tracks there. I don't know why it was omitted on the original version. Perhaps there wasn't enough room on the LP. Looking at the duration, perhaps, maybe that was it, or something like that. Could have been limitations or such, but I really enjoyed just the sheer ambience of that one. That was really beautiful to listen to. Looking at this one, it says, "Is it wrong to talk to myself even when there's nobody else? I'm just checking out that I'm not gone under the water, thrown on the beach like a seal ready for the slaughter. Can't you understand that the way things were planned, it never worked out, so I just went crazy?" Like he's being honest with himself and how he ended up here. "I took to the drink like something says it's maybe. I ain't got no excuse, and that's really the news. Got nothing else to say that it's my way. It's always my way. I seem to be running away so often. I'll try anything once, and that's the way we should be, but it's always the same, getting caught up again in a habit. A habit I just can't shake off the way it always turned out." That habit, I would assume, leading to addiction and further problems, hence his current situation. "Can you understand it's the way I choose to be? Everything's so easy this way, but I'm going under fast, slipping away. Am I so crazy?" So the realization and the being honest with himself as he's kind of nearing that cliff and before he walks off and goes a little bit too far. Now let's move on to the next track, which we're back on the proper LP track list, which is Just for the Record. That picks up things, huh?
Many's the time I've been thinking about changing my ways. But
7,
when
8.
it gets right down to it, it's the same drunken haze. I'm serving a sentence to write life sentences. It's only when I'm out of it I
Like the
make
guitar.
sense of it. But just for the record, I'm gonna put it down, 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 down. Just for the record, I'm gonna change my life around. Just
There's
a
the hope, right?
revolutionary with a pseudonym. Just a borrowed answer on my final fling. Just another writer paying off my dues. Just finding inspiration, well, that's my excuse. Just for the record, I'm gonna put it down, 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 down. Just for the record, I wanna change my life around. Just another empty gesture with
Drumming.
an empty glass. Just a comic actor.
Love that synth coming in,
behind a
too.
tragic mask. But I got no discipline. Just a little less painful here where my back's against the wall.
That's a fun little synth riff.
Too late, I found it's too far. I'm too much. Both of them are out at the wall.
I love that we're getting a solo from Kelly here. It's like he's pitching up on that last note. That was wonderful. I like that we got a standout moment like that from him. And then Crosby just slides off of that.
When you see I got a problem, that's a certainty. But I can put it all down to eccentricity. It's just for the record, it's just the passive phase. Just for the record, I can stop any day.
That was cool. The standout moment in that track is definitely Kelly's synth solo. I love how it comes out of there because to me, there's a few things that I look for in a synth solo like that. One, the actual sound that they choose, the tone of it, which can make or break to me the solo in the first place. Here, I really enjoy the sound that he chooses. That like that kind of sound is really fun to listen to. Then, of course, the perhaps obvious one is how they're playing. What are they playing? How does it work within the context of the music? And here, I love how the band kind of chills in the back. The guitar and the bass kind of just groove out in a laid-back tone there. And then he gets to just kind of fill in the gaps and color in the lines and sometimes out of the lines really quick there. And he plays with a little bit of speed, right? There's some moments where he adds some speed in there, but I love the main melody of it, the ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-da-da-da. I'm sounding like Dream Theater. But how he plays within that space, I think is really fun. It sounds fresh at this particular point, and I like how it feels like a standout and a breakaway moment from not only the rest of the track, but also just from the previous tracks. It feels like something unto itself at this point in the album, and it feels really, really wonderful. And I like how Rothery doesn't get like a solo necessarily, but it's more of a lead right after that. He just kind of coolly glides off of it, and then that leads into the final verse there when everybody comes back in, which I thought was really cool. This track definitely comes across as more hopeful, more upbeat, obviously with the lyrics as well, but just musically, it feels reinvigorated. It feels like it's, splashing some cold water in its face and it's picking up itself from the proverbial ashes and is saying, let's do this thing. Let's move forward, which makes sense with the lyrics. Let's look at that. Many's the time I've been thinking about changing my ways, but when it gets right down to it, it's the same drunken haze. I'm serving a sentence to write life sentences. It's only when I'm out of it I make sense of this. Just for the record, I'm going to put it down. Just for the record, I'm going to change my life around. As he's as our character Torch has been, going through these different things, he's been talking a lot about writing, so he's a writer of sorts. And I like how he says, just for the record, I'm going to put it down. Like he's writing it down and he's making a record of it. He's making a promise to himself. I'm going to put it down. I'm going to change my life around. Just a revolutionary with a pseudonym, which I view as someone who's going in, for lack of a better word, circles. Some may say warm, wet circles. He's going in circles of trying to escape this vice and then falling back into it. Trying to escape this vice and falling back into it. That's how I read that. Just a barroom dancer on my final fling. Just another writer paying off my dues. Just finding inspiration. Well, that's my excuse. And of course, that's his excuse for why he fails, why he keeps on going back to the glass. And I wouldn't doubt if anyone that's ever struggled with any sort of addiction, or in this case, alcohol addiction, I wouldn't doubt it if maybe this song or maybe parts of this record maybe have helped. Maybe Fish or someone in the band has gone through this and it comes from a personal place. As he repeats this, he says, just another empty gesture with an empty glass. Another comic actor behind a tragic mask. But I've got no discipline, no self-control, just a little less painful here when my back's against the wall. It's too late, I found. It's too far. I'm in two minds. Both of them are out at the bar. So even no matter where he looks within himself, he still finds himself back at square one. When you say I got a problem, that's a certainty. But I can put it all right down to eccentricity. It's just for the record. It's just a passing phase. Just for the record, I can stop any day. Which, of course, is a phrase that's uttered many, many a times in addictive circles. Let's go ahead and move on into the final track of this particular side of the album. Right? Yeah, it is. Okay. I had to confirm before I moved on. Which is going to be White Russian. Here we go. Spy thriller-ish. Came up really nicely right there. I love that light guitar here, almost heavy, aggressive nature. That's an aggressive rhythm. Yeah, this is the heaviest one so far.
This resurrection we can't allow. Uzis on a street sitting on a barbed wire fence.
That's a good line. That was a thunderclap of emotion.
We place our faith in human rights, and the paper walls tolerate tape tight. I know that I would rather be out of this conspiracy than the gulags and internment camps, frozen faces and nameless crimes. I know that they would rather be standing here beside me, racing the clouds home, racing the clouds home. You can shut your eyes, you can hide it away, it's gonna come back another day. Racing the clouds home, are we racing the clouds home? Racing the clouds home.
That's one of Marillion's best songs, in my opinion. I don't know what the opinion of or the consensus of White Russian is for fans, but that's one of the best Marillion songs I've heard. Excellent. Another 5 out of 5. Just like to me, Hotel Hobbies, this is another 5 out of 5 track. Perhaps the band's most aggressive and heaviest moment in this album so far. We've had a few, but like this one takes the cake. And what I really like is that rhythmically, it feels heavy. The drums and the bass, that's where the heaviness comes from in the main meat of the track in the first half. The guitar from Rothery is actually playing some kind of lighter, more ambient notes there, just kind of gently moving things along. But it's the drums and bass that really set the pace to build this kind of space.
Please clap.
And then, obviously, with the subject matter as well that's being spoken about here, talking about the Holocaust and such, it's so like wonderfully put together, this track, the structuring of it, the immediately snapping and pausing in the middle section to give way to quiet reflection and solitude. And I'm curious though, like the title of the track is White Russian, which of course something into the concept of the album. I'm not quite sure how the concept of the album fits into the Holocaust here. Maybe I'll have to dive into that a little bit here. But this is a brilliant track to end this first side of the album. It's momentous, it's emotional, incredibly powerful, very moving, excellent performances from everybody. It kind of has everything. I think that this is a perfect track, and I love Fish's vocal performance here. It sounds and feels sincere. You can put on passion, and a singer, an artist, is always great at putting on passion. Do they feel it? And can you feel, the audience, the listener, feel that they feel it and mean it? And I think that he presents that brilliantly here. Really fantastic. Still not sure how this ties into the concept, but we'll figure it out. They boarded up the synagogue's Uzis on the street corner. You can't take a photograph of Uzis on a street corner. The DJ resigned today. They wouldn't let him have his say. Surface scratched where the needles play. Uzis on a street corner. Obviously, they silenced him. Where do we go from here? Terror in the Rue de Saint-Denis. Murder on the periphery. Someone else in someone else's pocket. Christ knows I don't know how to stop it. Lay poppies on the cenotaph. The cynics can't afford to laugh. Like it's not even funny at this point. I heard it in the Telegraph. There's Uzis on a street corner. The more I see, the more I hear, the more I find fewer answers. I close my mind, I shout it out, but you know it's getting harder. to calm down, to reason out, to come to terms with what it's all about. I'm uptight, can't sleep at night. I can't pretend everything's all right. My ideals, my sanity, they seem to be deserting me. But to stand up and fight, I know we have 6 million reasons. Of course, once again, the Holocaust. Can I just say, brilliant writing here. You can't ignore things forever. When things are happening in the world, you of course try to ignore it in a way. You try to look the other way. Then maybe you try to reason. Oh, this is terrible, but you try to reason with yourself. You try to come to terms with it. You can't pretend everything's all right. And at a certain point, hopefully, it's not too late, as perhaps it was for 6 million and more people by the time realization comes around. That's brilliant writing. I love that. And of course, very applicable in modern times as well. Repeats the lyrics here. Here we go. The silence never louder than now. How quickly we forgot our vows. This resurrection we can't allow. Uzi's on a street corner. Where do we go from here? We buy fresh bagels from the corner store where swastikas are spat from aerosols. I sit in the bars sipping iced white Russian, trying to score, but nobody's pushing. And everyone looks at everyone's faces, searching for signs and praying for traces of a conscience. In residence, are we sitting on a barbed wire fence? Like everyone knows there's something wrong. Everyone knows there's something that's just not quite right. And just looking at each other like trying to find that glimmer of hope, that glimmer of humanity. And are we all feeling and thinking the same thing? And are we sitting on the fence, not, of course, in action, but not only a fence, but a barbed wire fence? In other words, you're going to get hurt too. What's the poem? Martin Niemöller, They Came For Us. You know what I'm talking about. Racing the clouds home. We place our faith in human rights and the paper wars that tie the red tape tight. I know that I would rather be out of this conspiracy. In the gulags and internment camps, frozen faces and nameless ranks, I know that they would rather be standing here beside me. You can shut your eyes, you can hide it away. It's gonna come back another day. Brilliant. Are we racing the clouds home? Brilliant. Let me just give it a clap because it deserves that. Absolutely brilliant lines. And like I said, this does end this particular side of the album. Powerful statement to end this side of the album, and I think it's absolutely brilliant. Now, let us get ready to move on into the second side of the album. And before we do so, can I just explain something to you guys? Break the fourth wall for a moment. And plus, this is the chance to see who's actually watching at this halfway point. You guys can't tell. You can see me. You can hear me. You can see what I'm tasting. Perhaps you're tasting something too. And you can't feel me. Even though we could boop. But what you can't do is smell. Because I've been sitting here for the past hour smelling my wife's banana bread that she baked. And I've just been sitting here smelling it. And little known fact, if you didn't know, I'm allergic to banana, so I can't eat it. So I've just been sitting here tortured. And let me bring it. I'm going to show you real quick. Let me bring it. Boom. I just hit the microphone. It's chocolate chips, right? Yeah. Chocolate chips, banana bread. It looks good. I wish I could taste it, but I can't. I can't. So. Hold on. Okay, and we are back. Hopefully you didn't sit there waiting the whole time. Hopefully you fast forwarded, Okay, let us move on into the second side of the album. And we're going to begin with the first track, Incommunicado. Here we go. like that hi-hat playing mostly.
I'd be really pleased for nature if only I could remember your name. But I got problems with memory ever since I got a winner in the fame game. I'm a citizen of level and traveling incommunicado. And I don't give a damn for the Fleet Street aficionados. But I don't want to be the back page in review. I don't want long dread anonymity. I want my handprints in the concrete on Sunset Boulevard.
Nice.
I follow you to the summit, you'll see. Incommunicado. 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 Incommunicado.
That's Mark putting that lazy
I'm a marquee veteran, a multimedia bona fide celebrity. I've got an allergy to Perrier, daily line of responsibility. I'm a rootin' tootin' cowboy, a Peter Pan with street credibility. Always taking the point with a Dawn Patrol fraternity. Sometimes it seems like I've been here before. When I hear all my opportunity kicking in my door. Call it synchronicity, call it déjà vu. I just put my faith in destiny. It's the way that I choose. But I don't want to be a tin can tied to the bumper of a wedding limousine. I'm currently residing in the wearing outfit.
Great placement for the snare
Took
drum.
me in the cavalry scene. I wanna do adverts for American Express cards, talk shows on
Mostly in
primetime TV.
Kelly.
I'm there in France, my own cocktail bar, and that's where you're gonna find me.
Excellent.
Incommunicado.
Back to that charge up chorus.
Incommunicado. Incommunicado. Incommunicado.
Kelly gets a little solo. Oh, he does. Descending.
Sometimes it seems like I've been here before. When I hear opportunity kicking in my door. Call it synchronicity, call it déjà vu. I just put my faith in destiny. It's the way that I choose. Incommunicado.
You said it with a spy right there. That one.
Incommunicado. Incommunicado.
Another snare.
It's the only way. Incommunicado. 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 Incommunicado.
I like the little bit of rhythmic pacing he puts on it. Cries that out. I love the way he kind of cries out that last incommunicado. This track definitely opens up this side with a much more energetic track, and definitely much more charge coming in, especially the chorus. You know, incommunicado, and then incommunicado. Like, it makes such a one-word chorus really fun. It's all about placement, right? It's all about how you put it in, the rhythm surrounding it, your delivery of it, and Fish does an excellent job there. Obviously, You know, I have to mention Mark Kelly's solo once again. I love that we get another one from him. And not only did we get a solo because we didn't really deserve it, because the lead synth from him in the beginning is just so already blinking fast. Once again, the tone is fun, the sound is fun, the way he plays it is fun, and I like how up-tempo it is, and up-tempo it is within the context of the rest of the track. There's that one moment between Kelly and Mosley when they like both have a little bit of a break just before the solo. It's just a cool little moment, you know? I like songs that have moments. It doesn't have to be the chorus, you know, it doesn't have to be something that repeats. It could just be a small little section, a small little moment. I love that section between them there. And then Steve is just he's just playing around in there. He's just doing his thing. But I love the way that Mosley and Kelly were kind of the stars to me. This is the catchy track on the album for sure. And I do see that this one looks like it was also a single from the album. Actually, it looks like it was, because I'm here right now, looks like it was the lead single, actually, from this album. It says that it became the band's third top 10 hit. Let's see. Reached number 6 in the UK singles chart. Also became a top 40 hit in Ireland, the Netherlands, Switzerland, and West Germany, as well as on the US album Rock Tracks chart. So it really hit a lot of charts here, and I can definitely see why. It says the A-side is a fast anthemic rock song with a repeated chorus. Kelly's solo was later cited as an inspiration by Adam Wakeman. Is that Rick Wakeman's son? Let's see. I mean, I would assume, right? Yeah, there you go. Rick Wakeman. All right, just wanted to make sure. Let's see. The extended version, we didn't listen to that. Cover art, we don't care about that. Let's look at the lyrics. I'd be really pleased to meet you if I could remember your name, but I got problems of the memory ever since I got a winner in the fame game. I'm a citizen of Legoland, traveling Incommunicado, and I don't give a damn for the Fleet Street aficionados. I don't want to be a back page interview. I don't want no laundrette anonymity. I want my handprints in the concrete on Sunset Boulevard, a dummy in Tassades, you'll see. Incommunicado. I'm a marquee veteran, a multimedia bona fide celebrity. I've got an allergy to Perrier, daylight, and responsibility. I'm a rootin' tootin' cowboy, the Peter Pan with street credibility, always taking the point with the Dawn Patrol fraternity. Speaking of Peter Pan, I'm watching the new Alien Earth, and there's a lot of Peter Pan references in there. Sometimes it seems like I've been here before when I hear opportunity kicking in my door. Call it synchronicity. Okay, please. Call it deja vu. I just put my faith in destiny. It's the way that I choose. He's not worried about trying to make his own way. He just lets things happen. He's a fish in the pond. But I don't want to be in a tin can tied to the bumper of a wedding limousine or currently residing in the Where Are They Now file to pay on a cabaret scene. I want to do adverts for American Express cards, talk shows on Prime TV, a villa in France, my own cocktail bar, and that's where you're going to find me. He just wants to have it all and not have to worry about the part of the fame that comes with it, perhaps. Sometimes it seems like I've been here before when I hear it kicking my door. Incommunicado. He just wants to be a well-off unknown. That's the best way to put it. A well-off unknown. That would be nice, huh? Let's go ahead and move on into the next track here, which is going to be not the title track, but it is titled Torch Song, so it is the character namesake track. So let's go ahead and dive into that one. Love that little harmonic. Pour me another.
Read some Kerouac and it put me on the tracks to burn a little brighter now. Something about Roman candles fizzing out, shine a little light on me now. Find a strange fascination with a liquid fixation. Alcohol can thrill me now. It's getting late in the game to show any pride or shame. Burn a little brighter now. Burn a little brighter now.
Came in that nicely.
Doctor said my liver looks like leaving with my lover. Need another time out now. Like any sort of hero, turning down a zero, standing out in any crowd.
this lifestyle, you won't reach 30.
Christ. It's some romantic way to go, really. It's part of the heritage.
I love Kelly's little synths. Of course, Rothery here. That's fantastic.
We burn a little bright now.
Love the kicks accenting that yell from.
Raise some caraway, can it put me on the tracks to burn a little brighter now? It was something about Roman candles fizzing out. Shine a little light on me now. Find a strange fascination with a liquid fixation. Alcohol, thrill me now.
Attitude in there.
Getting late in the game to show any pride or shame. Burn a little brighter now. We burn a little brighter now. Yeah. Burn a little brighter now. We burn a little brighter.
Is it leading? I'm gonna let it lead. I'm gonna let it go. Just this one. Just this one. But I love subtle leading to this. That's cool. Oh, this is a cool passage.
A hand held over a candle in Anfield bravado. A carbon trail scores a moist stretched palm. Wrapped in the indecision of another fine menu. And you sit there and ask me to tell you the story so far. This is the story so far. Shuffling your memories, dealing your doodles in margins.
I love the minimalist approach to the guitar that
You
you
scroll out your poems across a beer mat or two.
little echo on that.
And when you
Nice shuffle.
declare the point of grave creation, they turn round and ask you to tell them the story so far. This is the story so far. And you listen with a tear in your eye into their hopes and betrayals, and your only reply is Slainte Mhath. Princes in exile raising the standard Drambu, parading their anecdotes tired from old campaigns, holding their own last orders commanding attention. And we sit here and listen to all of the stories so far. This is the story so far. Take it away.
Okay, I'm glad I played these two songs together. Because at least there, it doesn't continue on to the next track. Okay, I love the gentle picking from Rothery in this track, in Slainte Mhath. I didn't listen to the pronunciation. But I love that gentle picking, and once again, that very strong current of build-up into the finale, in which Fish really unleashes it all. He just allows everything to fly there. And as he says, take me away, and take it away, not only the band does it behind him, but he does it in that brilliant performance and that wonderful melodic outburst from him. That's just powerful. There's almost a symphonic nature to the ending of this track, and I would probably credit that to Mark Kelly and what he's providing on the keyboards, which, speaking of, if we go to the previous track, which I allowed to continue here, with Torch's song, I love the halfway points and that gentle, I can't help but call it like that satellite-like kind of keys that he provides there, and the wonderful ambience that's there. And then it leads to the conversation between Torch and his doctor, saying, hey, if you continue down this path, you're not going to make it past 30. And Torch is like, really? Well, it's kind of romantic that way, huh? It's kind of romantic to go that way or whatever. And then he says, let's keep doing this. And I just really love that. And between these two tracks, they actually go really well together, obviously because they transition. But they go well together in that gentle atmosphere, that reflective introspectiveness of Torch song, and moving into Slainte Mhath, which let me click on the annotation here so I know what it means, because it sounds like a cheer or a toast. See, I'm looking at it right now. Put you guys up here. A Gaelic drinking toast means good health. So there you go. After Torch listens to other stories of victory and despair, all he can do is have another drink, which he says in Torch's song after talking with the doctor even. So that makes a lot of sense there. So I like how this is like the big conflict. We've had many conflicts in this story, but this is like that big turning point. Like, you have to turn from here or else there's not much of a future. And yet he says, have another drink, right? Let me go to the previous track. Torch song. Read some Kerouac. I love the way Fish puts so much aggression on the end of each of these words. Read some Kerouac and put me on the tracks. To burn a little brighter now. Something about Roman candles fizzing out. Shine a little light on me now. Found a strange fascination with the liquid fixation. Alcohol can thrill me now. It's getting late in the game to show any pride or shame. I just burn a little brighter now. It's too late for the feelings. He's just burning, burning, burning until perhaps he burns out. Doctor says my liver looks like leaving with my lover. Need another time out now. Like any sort of hero turning down to zero, still standing out in any crowd, pulling 17 with experience and dreams, sweating out a happy hour. When you're hiding 29, you know it ain't a crime to burn a little brighter now. Then, of course, the doctor, their conversation here. Let's read some Kerouac. Repeats those lyrics again. Then let's go back to Slainte Mhath. A hand held over a candle in angst, feud, bravado, right? Just like with the burning a little brighter now, and the Roman candle there, referencing holding your hand over a candle, I'm man enough, blah, 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 until you get burned. A carbon trail scores a moist stretched palm. Trapped in the indecision of another fine menu, and you sit there and ask me to tell you the story so far. This is the story so far. Shuffling your memories, dealing your doodles and margins, you scrawl out your poems across a beer mat or two. And when you declare the point of grave creation, they turn around and ask you to tell them the story so far. They tell you, they're asking, almost like the doctor asking you, okay, what's been going on, right? What's the story? And you listen with a tear in your eye to their hopes and betrayals, and your only reply is that toast. Good health. Hope you're well. Princes in exile raising the standard drambuie and parading their anecdotes are tired from old campaigns. Holding their own last orders, commanding attention, we sit here and listen to all the stories so far. Take it away, take me away. From the dream on the barbed wire at Flanders and Bilston Glen, from a Clyde side that rests from the tears of broken men, from the realization that all we've been left behind is to stand like our fathers before us in the firing line. What's ahead of us, or for us rather. Waiting on the whistle to blow, we stand here waiting on the whistle to blow. They promise us miracles, and the whistle still blows. Broken promises, but the whistle still blows. Waiting on the whistle to blow, we stand here waiting on the whistle to blow. All he feels is hopelessness, just waiting for the inevitable to come for him. Before we listen to the last two tracks, if you'll bear with me, listen. I've been changing my diet recently, and I've been drinking like I'm trying to like not skip lunch, but kind of a little bit. And I've been drinking like my own like healthy smoothies and drinks, and I'm like way past that. And I'll be. You can skip ahead. Just give me a second. Give me a second. Okay, that's my second break. I know. It's like I'm running. It's like I'm running out of. I'm running on overtime. My PTO. It's my healthy juice, my healthy smoothies that I make. It's no sugar added, just natural. Blackberries, strawberries, protein powder, spinach, chia seeds, and flax seeds. That's my drink. Anyways. It fills me up for a good extra like hour to 2 hours. So, all right, now let's listen to the next track. Thank you for bearing with me. I appreciate you. Let's listen to Sugar Mice. Sounds tasty. Kind
I was flicking through the channels on the TV on a Sunday in Milwaukee in the rain, trying to piece together conversations, trying to find out where to lay the blame.
on one plate.
But when it comes right down to it, there's no use trying to pretend. But when it gets right down to it, there's no one here that's left to blame. Blame it on me. You can blame it on me. We're just sugar mice in the rain. I heard Sinatra calling me down through the floorboards, where you pay a quarter for a partnership in rhyme. To the jukebox crying in the corner.
Sounds like the guitar's crying in the
While
corner.
the waitress is counting out the time. But when it gets right down to it, there's no one really left to blame. Blame it on me.
He's taking some responsibility.
Blame it on me. We're just sugar mice in the rain.
Should have seen it coming. Kelly's bringing that almost symphonic element here to lift it up. feels like it should be the last track on the album.
Ain't no one in here that's left to blame but me. Blame it on me. Blame it on me.
I like the bass tone there. I really like the bass tone there.
Well, the toughest thing that I ever did was talk to the kids on the phone. When I heard them asking questions and knew that you were all alone.
He did say he was a deadbeat dad.
Can't you understand that the government left me out of work? I just couldn't stand the looks on the faces saying what a jerk. So if you want my address, it's number 1 at the end of the bar, where I sit with the broken angels, clutching at straws and nursing our scars. Blame it on me, blame it on me. Sugar mice in the rain. Your daddy took a rain check. Your daddy took a rain check.
That almost sounded like that should have been the final track on the album, with the way it gently built up into a big crescendo, kind of at least beginning to wrap up the story, and then gently kind of gave us a little bit of a resolution. But we still have a little bit left on the next track here as well. And once again, I love how this builds up into something powerful. This is one of those formulas that we heard previously on the album. Starts gentle. Steve gets us the gentle guitar. Fish starts down here. But then before you know it, it pops off, it goes off. We get another brilliant solo from Rothery that just crescendos and exclaims wonderful at the very end there. And then it brings it all back down on a gentle rain. And I like how at this point in the story, we finally get some accountability from Torch. We finally get a little bit of self-reflection and perhaps enough to get him out of these dire straits. I think that's really cool. And then I had no idea. Sugar Mice, I didn't know at all what the title meant until he kind of mentioned Sugar Mice in the Rain. I read this as, sugar obviously will dissolve in the rain, and him describing himself as a sugar mouse in the rain. He's at his lowest, he's feeling dissolved, and he describes himself as a mouse, something kind of dirty, right? Something you don't want to see, a degenerate of sorts, like, just a pest. A rodent. And so perhaps in his current state, maybe that persona or this issue will melt away in the rain, and perhaps he'll come back like a phoenix in a different manner. Maybe this will be his redemption arc, but we have to see when we move on to the final track here. I was flicking through the channels on the TV on a Sunday in Milwaukee in the rain, trying to piece together conversations, trying to find out where to lay the blame. But when it comes right down to it, there's no use for trying to pretend. For when it gets right down to it, there's no one here that's left to blame. Blame it on me. We're just sugar mice in the rain. So now he's finally taking accountability for his actions and for what he's done. I heard Sinatra calling me down the floorboards where you pay a quarter for a partnership in rhyme. To the jukebox crying in the corner while the waitress is counting out the time. I'm counting out time. Because I know what I feel. I know what I want. Know what I am. Daddy took a rain check. Like Daddy took a rain check on being a dad. Ain't no one in here that's left to blame but me. Blame it on me. Well, the toughest thing that I ever did was talk to the kids on the phone. When I heard them asking questions, I knew that you were all alone. Can't you understand that the government left me out of work? I just couldn't stand the looks on the faces saying, what a jerk. So if you want my address, it's number 1 at the end of the bar, where I sit with the broken angels clutching at straws, title drop, and nursing our scars. Blame it on me, blame it on me. Your daddy took a rain check. So now, I'm really curious as to what will happen on the final track. Will this continue going down a more redemptive and positive path? Or Are we just going to be circling these warm, wet circles again? Let's find out on the final track, which is The Last Straw / it says happy ending. Spoilers, unless it's a twist. Is this a few years later title card?
Hotel hobbies, padding dawns, auto corridors. A typewriter cackles out a stream of memories. Trying out a conscience, evicting a nightmare. Opening the doors for the dreams to come home. We live our lives in private shells. Ignore our senses and fool ourselves to thinking that out there there's someone else cares, someone to answer all our prayers, all our prayers. Are we too far gone? Are we so irresponsible? Have we lost our balls? Or do we just not care? We're terminal cases that keep taking medicine, pretending the end isn't quite that near. We make futile gestures, act through the cameras with our made-up faces and our PR smiles. And when the angel comes down to deliver us, we'll find out after all we're only men.
Nice little bass drum. I love this.
Passing the time and passing the blame. We carry on in the same old way. We'll find out we left it too late one day to say what we meant to say.
Little pulse in the ambience of the guitar.
Just when
Wonderful hi-hat rhythm.
safe to go back to the water. Those problems seem to arise, the ones you never really thought.
It's a great line.
The feeling you get is similar to something like drowning. Out of your mind, you're out of your depth. You should have taken soundings. Clutching at straws. We're clutching at straws. We're clutching at straws.
I actually didn't expect it to come out like that there. Slides. It's big and heavy.
And if you ever come across us, don't give us your sympathy. You can buy us a drink and just shake our hands. And you'll recognize with a reflection in our eyes that deep down inside we're all one and the same. We're clutching at straws. We're still drowning, clutching at straws. We're still
love that little vocal riff he threw in at the end.
We're clutching at straws.
Still drowning.
We're clutching at straws.
Still drowning.
We're clutching at straws.
Still drowning. We're clutching at straws. Still drowning.
She's going.
Clutching at straws. Still drowning. We're clutching at straws. Still drowning. We're clutching at straws. Still drowning. Clutching at straws. Still drowning.
She's hitting that. I have no idea what happened at the very end, or what he said, or the laughing. I don't know. I guess that's the happy ending, even though it didn't sound very happy. But what do I know? And so we have completed our full album listen of Clutching at Straws Marillion. The final track sums everything out really nicely, or sums everything up really nicely, with once again a excellent vocal performance from Fish as he screams at the end with Miss Niles there, and she really brings it. I mean, I hate to say it feels random, but it feels a little random that she was featured like on just brief moments of 2 tracks. I feel like if you're gonna have a backing vocalist like her, have her around, you know, like, and especially with the range that she shows there in that final part. That was sensational. We once again get some really fantastic moments here in the build-up, the sensational like composition of it all from Kelly, from Rothery, obviously. Like, just everyone's just really fantastic here in what they're doing, and this track does serve as a great ending to the album musically, but also story-wise, because let's tie this all together here, but it doesn't seem like it's necessarily a good ending or a bad ending, just perhaps maybe a realistic one. We kind of start on this track where we began. Hotel Hobbies padding dawn's hollow corridors. I like how now it's dawn, right? Symbolizing hope, a new light, the sun rising. A typewriter cackles out a stream of memories, drying out a conscience, evicting a nightmare, opening the doors for the dreams to come home, right? Getting the wet, dark thoughts out, evicting a nightmare, and then allowing the dreams to come home. Now you're opening the doors and inviting them to come home. Hopefully they actually do. We live our lives in private shells, ignore our senses, and fool ourselves to thinking that out there that someone else cares, someone to answer all of our prayers. Are we too far gone? Are we so irresponsible? Have we lost our balls, or do we just not care? We're terminal cases that keep talking medicine, pretending the end isn't quite that near. We make futile gestures, act to the cameras with our made-up faces and our PR smiles. And when the angel comes down to deliver us, we'll find out, after all, we were only men of straw. This was good. And of course, Clutching at Straws. That was good. Or like the House of Straw of the 3 Pigs, easily blown away. But everything is still the same, passing the time, passing the blame. We carry it on in the same old way. We'll find out we left it too late one day to say what we meant to say. I love that, right? Holding regrets until it's too late, holding things you want to say until it's too late. But also the, how it starts off as a personal experience with the drinking and the depression and the things surrounding that, and how now he's kind of relating this into a bigger humanity, mankind, and global kind of say. Just when you thought it was safe to go back to the water, would it be Jaws? These problems seem to arise, the ones you never really thought of. Like when you thought he was doing all right, there's other problems that you never really thought of that maybe are now making themselves known. The feeling you get is similar to something like drowning. Out of your mind, you're out of your depth. You should have taken soundings. Clutching at straws, we're clutching at straws. And if you ever come across us, don't give us your sympathy. You can buy us a drink and just shake our hands. And you'll recognize by the reflection in our eyes that deep down inside, we're all one and the same. Now, he's talking about this, like I said, if you run across people who have gone through similar experiences as I, right, as Torch has, he says you can buy us a drink and just shake our hands. Maybe in Torch's specific case, you don't want to buy him a drink. We're clutching at straws, we're still drowning. We're clutching at straws, we're still drowning. I'm still drowning. And he brings it back once again to personal, from we to I. So he's still struggling. It's not like, it says happy ending here. It's not like it's necessarily a happy ending. He still has to work at it. He still has progress to make. And there may be some drawbacks. There may be some circling the circles, but it seems that he is at least on the right path. I'm going to click this annotation here for happy ending. Whoops. No music. It says someone shouts help, then Fish laughs. The album's liner notes, which give a location for each song, presumably where each song was written or inspired, list for this song St. Peter's Arms. This suggests that Torch has died and gone to heaven to meet St. Peter at the pearly gates. Okay. So would that be considered the good ending or the bad ending? Because, on one hand he died, but on the other hand, I guess he's in heaven, so that's a good ending. Let's look at the Wikipedia article on this, because I didn't finish reading the concept part. He also writes about his surroundings and his laments. Since Torch has no other real outlet at his disposal, he ends up in bars, hotel rooms, and on the road, screaming and drunk. Thus, he is described as beyond redemption or hope. All right, well, I guess there wasn't anything else to read in the concept that we left earlier, huh? I thought that it was going to have spoilers, so I just stopped reading. It says, Marillion took a break after the tour in support of the album. The song, Incommunicado, describes the pitfalls of the business and how pressures in real life exerted by the band's label were crushing in from the outside for them to either succeed or get dropped, which would happen to Marillion anyway after a few years. And then looking at the cover, I thought it was the band on the cover, and I didn't really pull it up here, but you can kind of see it blurrily there. But I suppose it's not. The front and back covers of the album describe Fish's inspiration for the album's lyrics, as well as some of his heroes. There are allusions to them throughout the album. The setting is in a British pub, and the people represented are, on the front from left to right, Robert Burns, Dylan Thomas, Truman Capote, and Lenny Bruce. Don't know any of them. On the back, John Lennon, James Dean, and Jack Kerouac. Know some of them. Sleeve artist Mark Wilkinson has expressed his disappointment with the sleeve, which he intended to be more detailed and feature more characters, but was rushed due to the release date of the album being brought forward. Did he want it to look like Sgt. Pepper's? He says it was a torture to do, especially as I got a call almost by the day from EMI or John that if I missed this deadline, the time slot would go and the tour/album symbiosis put in jeopardy. Somehow I did it, clutching at sleep, clutching at straws. EMI were relieved. Fish seemed okay. The rest of the band were a bit unmoved. It was so different to the previous sleeves. I was bloody disappointed. I love this album, still do. It was some kind of pinnacle as far as I'm concerned. Probably my favorite of theirs. And I felt cheated. It was not the sleeve I had imagined. You don't win them all, believe me. You know what would have been cool? If he was maybe on some of the reissues, if he was allowed to maybe like redo and finish the album cover how he wanted to, like to get the actual have the proper way that he wanted it done. Like that would have been cool, like maybe on reissues to do that, but who knows what happened there. Anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed, of course, the album listen. I hope that you were here for it. You spent some good time. You spent an hour and 47 minutes, an hour and 49 probably by the time I finish all the ending plugs and everything, but I really hope that you just enjoyed your time here listening to it. Everyone that recommended the album, of course, and Courtney for sponsoring and suggesting this album. Really, really appreciate the support and the support from all of you guys who have always been there around, whether this is your first time watching or like many of you, you've been around for at least a few months, perhaps even years. Really, really appreciate that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Favorite songs for me, in case it wasn't obvious, White Russian and then Hotel Hobbies, I think are the strongest tracks for myself personally. And I also really enjoy the combination of Torch Song and Slainte Mhath. I really enjoyed Torch Song actually quite a bit. But I would definitely give Hotel Hobbies and White Russian. White Russian is probably my favorite track on the album. No, it is my favorite track on the album if I had to choose one. Just to throw that out there. But thank you all so much for watching. I really, really thank you for being here. I hope that you enjoyed the video. Inviting you always to come back tomorrow. That's it. Bye. Bye, guys.